Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to explore a powerful journey, one that leads us toward emotional freedom and liberation from the weight of negative feelings. Emotional detachment is not about shutting ourselves off from the world, rather, it is about releasing the burdens that no longer serve us. Let us embark on this path together. Emotional attachment is a fundamental aspect of the human experience, intricately woven into the fabric of our relationships and our sense of self. It reflects our deep connections with others, the experiences we hold dear, and the identities we cultivate throughout our lives. However, emotional attachment can become a double-edged sword, leading to dependency, fear, and distress, particularly when those connections become strained or when we confront inevitable changes. At the core of emotional attachment lies our innate desire for connection and belonging. From the moment we enter the world, we seek bonds with caregivers, family members, and friends. These connections provide us with security and a sense of identity. As children, we rely on our parents or guardians for love, support, and nurturing, which lays the foundation for how we form attachments later in life. However, as we mature, we often develop attachments that can morph into unhealthy dependencies. We may cling to relationships, situations, or even beliefs that no longer serve us, driven by a fear of abandonment or loneliness. This fear can manifest in various ways: anxiety, resentment, or anger, leading us to hold tightly to connections that inhibit our personal growth and well-being. Moreover, emotional attachment is often rooted in our past experiences. Traumatic events, losses, or unresolved conflicts can create patterns of attachment that color our present relationships. For example, someone who has experienced betrayal may find it challenging to trust others in future partnerships, leading to a cycle of suspicion and fear. By understanding these patterns, we can begin to identify the specific attachments that cause us pain and hinder our ability to move forward. This awareness is crucial, as it allows us to recognize the influence of our past on our current emotional state. It's essential to differentiate between healthy and unhealthy emotional attachment. Healthy attachment fosters growth, intimacy, and mutual support, creating a nurturing environment where individuals can thrive. In contrast, unhealthy attachment often results in dependency, possessiveness, and emotional turmoil. When we find ourselves in relationships where we feel trapped or controlled, it signals a need to evaluate the nature of our attachment. Are we holding on out of love, or are we clinging to fear and insecurity? This distinction is vital, as it can illuminate the motivations behind our emotions and decisions. Acknowledging our emotional attachments requires introspection and honesty. It involves grappling with difficult questions. Why do I feel this way? What am I afraid of losing? What role does this attachment play in my life? By confronting these questions, we can gain deeper insight into our emotional landscape and how it influences our choices. This journey of self-discovery encourages us to reflect on our values and priorities. What truly matters to us? Are our attachments aligned with our goals and aspirations? This reflection can help us identify areas where we may need to detach emotionally, empowering us to make choices that lead to healthier and more fulfilling connections. Understanding emotional attachment also involves recognizing the impact of societal and cultural influences. We often internalize messages about love, relationships, and success from our families, communities, and media. These external pressures can shape our attachments, leading us to stay in situations that do not serve our well-being. By becoming aware of these influences, we can navigate our emotional landscape more effectively, freeing ourselves from the weight of societal expectations. Ultimately, the journey of understanding emotional attachment is a crucial step toward emotional detachment. It requires us to acknowledge the complexities of our feelings and the relationships that define our lives. By gaining insight into the nature of our attachments, we can start to let go of what no longer serves us, creating space for healthier, more positive connections. This process may be challenging, but it is also immensely rewarding, paving the way for emotional freedom and personal growth. As we learn to navigate our emotions with wisdom and intention, we draw closer to a life filled with authentic relationships and a profound sense of inner peace. Identifying negative emotions is a crucial step in the journey toward emotional detachment and overall well-being. Negative emotions can manifest in various forms: anger, sadness, frustration, anxiety, and even shame, and they often act as signals that something in our lives requires attention. By recognizing and naming these emotions, we empower ourselves to address the underlying issues, rather than allowing them to fester and dictate our behavior. The first step in identifying negative emotions is cultivating self-awareness. This involves taking a step back and reflecting on our feelings without judgment. In our fast-paced lives, it can be easy to suppress emotions or ignore them altogether. However, ignoring negative feelings can lead to a buildup of emotional tension that eventually erupts in unhelpful ways. Journaling is one effective tool for enhancing self-awareness. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can help clarify what you're experiencing and provide insight into the situations that trigger these emotions. Another important aspect of identifying negative emotions is understanding their sources. Emotions don't exist in a vacuum. They often stem from specific experiences, relationships, or even thoughts. For example, feelings of anger may arise from a perceived injustice, while sadness might be tied to a loss or disappointment. By connecting emotions to their origins, we can better understand the context in which they arise, allowing us to confront them more effectively. It's also beneficial to recognize the physical sensations associated with negative emotions. Emotions often manifest in our body's tension in the shoulders, a racing heart, or a pit in the stomach. Paying attention to these physical cues can serve as an early warning system for negative emotional states. When you notice these sensations, take a moment to check in with yourself. Ask, what am I feeling right now, and what might be causing it? This practice encourages a mindful approach to emotional awareness. Another critical element is recognizing the thought patterns that accompany negative emotions. Often our feelings are influenced by the stories we tell ourselves. For instance, if we find ourselves feeling inadequate, it may stem from negative self-talk or comparisons with others. Challenging these thought patterns can help disrupt the cycle of negativity. By reframing our thoughts, transforming "I'm not good enough" into "I am doing my best," and can learn from my mistakes, we create a more positive internal dialogue that supports emotional well-being. Identifying negative emotions also involves embracing vulnerability. It's easy to dismiss or hide our negative feelings, especially in a society that often prioritizes positivity and strength. However, acknowledging and expressing vulnerability is a sign of strength, not weakness. Sharing our emotions with trusted friends or family members can provide relief and perspective. It creates an opportunity for connection and support, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. Additionally, it's essential to distinguish between transient feelings and more persistent emotional states. While everyone experiences moments of anger or sadness, chronic negative emotions may indicate deeper issues that require attention. This distinction can guide our approach, whether we need to engage in self-care practices or seek professional support, such as therapy, to unpack and address these feelings. In conclusion, identifying negative emotions is a vital component of emotional detachment and personal growth. By cultivating self-awareness, understanding the sources of our emotions, recognizing physical sensations, and challenging negative thought patterns, we can navigate our emotional landscape more effectively. Embracing vulnerability and seeking support further enriches this journey. As we become more adept at identifying and addressing our negative feelings, we lay the groundwork for healthier relationships with ourselves and others, ultimately leading to greater emotional freedom and resilience. The power of perspective is a transformative tool that can fundamentally alter how we experience life's challenges and navigate our emotional landscape. When we shift our viewpoint, we enable ourselves to see situations not just as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and learning. This shift is essential for overcoming negative feelings and achieving emotional detachment. At the heart of this idea is the understanding that perspective shapes our reality. Two people can face the same challenge, yet their responses can be vastly different based on how they perceive the situation. One person may view a setback as a failure, while another may see it as a valuable lesson. This difference in perspective can significantly influence emotional responses. When we cultivate a mindset that embraces challenges as opportunities, we open ourselves to new possibilities, resilience, and a sense of empowerment. To begin shifting our perspective, it is helpful to practice gratitude. Regularly acknowledging what we are thankful for even in the midst of difficulties can reframe our mindset. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack or what is going wrong to what is positive and fulfilling in our lives. By making a habit of reflecting on our blessings, we can cultivate a more optimistic outlook. This practice doesn't negate the existence of negative emotions. Rather, it provides a counterbalance that allows us to navigate those feelings with a healthier mindset. Another effective way to shift perspective is through reframing. This technique involves looking at a situation from a different angle, which can change how we feel about it. For example, instead of viewing a job loss as a disaster, we can reframe it as an opportunity to explore new career paths or to reassess our professional goals. This doesn't mean dismissing the negative feelings associated with such events. Instead, it acknowledges them while allowing for a more constructive interpretation. By actively engaging in reframing, we can transform our internal dialogue and create a narrative that supports our growth. Additionally, surrounding ourselves with positive influences can enhance our perspective. Engaging with people who inspire us, who have overcome their challenges, or who maintain an optimistic outlook can encourage us to adopt similar attitudes. Their experiences and insights can serve as valuable reminders that difficulties can lead to personal development and resilience. Participating in supportive communities, whether in person or online, can provide a sense of belonging and motivation to maintain a positive perspective. Mindfulness is another powerful tool that can aid in perspective shifting. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. This awareness allows us to recognize when negative feelings arise and to respond to them with curiosity rather than reactivity. Instead of becoming overwhelmed by anxiety or frustration, we can pause and ask ourselves, what can I learn from this situation, or how might this be an opportunity for growth? This practice encourages a more balanced and open-minded approach to challenges. Furthermore, embracing a growth mindset can significantly influence our perspective. This concept, popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck, emphasizes the belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. When we adopt a growth mindset, we become more resilient in the face of setbacks. Instead of fearing failure, we view it as a necessary step on the path to mastery. This mindset fosters a love for learning and an appreciation for the journey, rather than fixating solely on the end results. In conclusion, the power of perspective is a vital tool for emotional detachment and personal growth. By consciously shifting our viewpoint, practicing gratitude, engaging in reframing, surrounding ourselves with positive influences, practicing mindfulness, and adopting a growth mindset, we can transform our relationship with challenges. This transformation enables us to navigate negative feelings with resilience and grace, fostering a sense of empowerment that propels us toward a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Setting healthy boundaries is an essential aspect of emotional well-being and personal growth. Boundaries serve as the invisible lines that define where one person ends and another begins, allowing us to protect our emotional space and ensure that our relationships remain supportive and constructive. When we establish clear boundaries, we create an environment where we can thrive without feeling overwhelmed or drained by external influences. One of the primary reasons for setting boundaries is to safeguard our emotional health. Without them, we may find ourselves overcommitting, feeling resentful, or becoming emotionally exhausted. For instance, in personal relationships, failing to communicate our needs can lead to misunderstandings and conflict. By expressing our limits, we make it clear what behaviors are acceptable and what we need from others to feel supported. This not only protects our emotional well-being, but also fosters healthier interactions. Understanding the different types of boundaries, emotional, physical, time-related, and digital, can help us recognize where we need to establish limits. Emotional boundaries involve recognizing and respecting our feelings and those of others. They allow us to express our emotions without feeling guilty and prevent us from absorbing the negative emotions of others. Physical boundaries define our personal space and comfort levels regarding physical touch. Time-related boundaries ensure we allocate time for ourselves amidst the demands of work, family, and social obligations. Lastly, digital boundaries are increasingly important in our technology-driven world, helping us manage our online presence and interactions in a way that feels safe and comfortable. To effectively set boundaries, it is vital to start with self-awareness. We must identify what our limits are and what behaviors we find unacceptable. This process often involves reflecting on our values and understanding our emotional triggers. By recognizing what makes us uncomfortable or stressed, we can articulate our boundaries more clearly. For instance, if certain topics of conversation lead to distress, it's crucial to communicate that such discussions are off limits. Communicating boundaries requires assertiveness, which is the ability to express one's needs and feelings honestly and respectfully. It is important to remember that asserting boundaries is not about being confrontational, rather, it's about being clear and direct. When communicating our boundaries, we should use I statements to express how we feel and what we need. For example, saying, "I feel overwhelmed when I receive work emails after hours, so I would like to limit work communications to regular business hours." This is more effective than saying, "You always email me late at night." This approach minimizes defensiveness and encourages constructive dialogue. It's also essential to anticipate resistance when setting boundaries, especially if they challenge established patterns in relationships. People may react with confusion, frustration, or even anger. In these moments, it is important to remain firm and calm. Reiterating the reasons for your boundaries and emphasizing that they are necessary for your well-being can help others understand your perspective. Remember that establishing boundaries is an act of self-care and self-respect, and it is perfectly acceptable to prioritize your emotional health. Moreover, setting boundaries is not a one-time event, it is an ongoing process that requires regular reflection and adjustment. As we grow and evolve, our boundaries may need to shift as well. Regularly checking in with ourselves and our relationships can help us identify when boundaries need to be reinforced or modified. Lastly, it's important to model healthy boundaries in our interactions with others. When we respect our own limits, we demonstrate to those around us the importance of doing the same. This not only sets a standard, but also encourages a culture of mutual respect and support. In conclusion, setting healthy boundaries is crucial for emotional detachment and overall well-being. By understanding the different types of boundaries, cultivating self-awareness, communicating assertively, and modeling respect for boundaries in our relationships, we create a space where we can thrive emotionally. This process empowers us to maintain our integrity and emotional health, allowing us to engage more fully and authentically with ourselves and others. Practicing forgiveness is a powerful and transformative process that plays a vital role in emotional detachment and overall well-being. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as a simple act of letting go or condoning the actions of others, but it is far more profound. It involves freeing ourselves from the emotional burdens of past hurts and grievances, enabling us to move forward with a sense of peace and clarity. At its core, forgiveness is primarily for ourselves. When we hold on to anger, resentment, or bitterness, we inadvertently become prisoners of our emotions. These negative feelings can consume our thoughts, drain our energy, and cloud our ability to experience joy. By forgiving, we release the grip that past wounds have on our present, allowing us to reclaim our emotional power. This process is essential for emotional detachment because it helps us disentangle our sense of self-worth and happiness from the actions of others. Understanding that forgiveness does not equate to excusing or forgetting is crucial. It is not about minimizing the pain we've experienced or pretending that it didn't happen. Instead, forgiveness acknowledges the hurt and chooses to let go of the desire for retribution or resentment. It is an active decision to prioritize our own emotional well-being over the need to hold on to past grievances. This distinction empowers us to approach forgiveness with compassion and understanding, both for ourselves and for those who may have caused us pain. One of the first steps in the forgiveness process is to recognize and validate our feelings. It's natural to feel anger or hurt in response to a betrayal or injustice, and these emotions deserve acknowledgement. Suppressing or denying these feelings can prolong the suffering. By allowing ourselves to fully experience our emotions, we create space for healing. Journaling about our feelings can be a helpful tool in this regard, as it provides an outlet for expression and reflection. After acknowledging our emotions, we can begin to shift our perspective on the situation. This often involves understanding the context behind the actions of others. People hurt others for a variety of reasons: fear, insecurity, or their own unresolved issues. By attempting to view the situation through the lens of empathy, we can cultivate a sense of compassion for those who have wronged us. This does not excuse their behavior, but it helps us see them as flawed human beings, rather than as the villains in our story. Another essential aspect of forgiveness is the practice of self-forgiveness. Many times we hold on to guilt or regret for our own actions, believing that we should have acted differently. Self-forgiveness involves acknowledging our mistakes and recognizing that we are all fallible. It is about learning from our experiences rather than being defined by them. By forgiving ourselves, we create space for growth and self-compassion, which are crucial for emotional healing. It's important to remember that forgiveness is a process, not an event. It may take time, and it's natural to experience setbacks along the way. Allowing ourselves to take the time we need to heal is essential. We can also seek support from trusted friends, family, or professionals who can provide guidance and encouragement as we navigate this journey. Talking through our feelings can help clarify our thoughts and facilitate the process of forgiveness. Lastly, forgiveness can lead to profound emotional liberation. When we release the burden of past hurts, we create space for new experiences, relationships, and opportunities. This newfound freedom allows us to engage more fully in life, fostering a sense of joy and fulfillment. By choosing to forgive, we take control of our emotional narrative, reclaiming our power and paving the way for healthier, more positive connections with others. In conclusion, practicing forgiveness is a vital component of emotional detachment and personal growth. By acknowledging our feelings, shifting our perspective, practicing self-forgiveness, and recognizing that forgiveness is a process, we can free ourselves from the emotional burdens of the past. This journey not only enhances our well-being, but also enriches our relationships, allowing us to move forward with greater peace and resilience. Mindfulness and presence are powerful practices that can significantly enhance our emotional well-being and aid in the process of emotional detachment. In a world filled with distractions and constant demands on our attention, cultivating mindfulness allows us to reconnect with ourselves in the present moment. This practice not only helps us manage negative emotions, but also fosters a greater sense of clarity and peace. At its core, mindfulness involves being fully present and engaged in the moment, without judgment. It encourages us to observe our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations as they arise, allowing us to experience life more fully. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to step back from the whirlwind of thoughts and emotions that often consume us, creating a space where we can respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This space is crucial when dealing with negative feelings, as it allows us to acknowledge and process these emotions without becoming overwhelmed. One of the simplest ways to cultivate mindfulness is through meditation. Setting aside a few minutes each day to sit in silence, focus on your breath, and observe your thoughts can have profound effects. During meditation, you may notice your mind wandering to past regrets or future anxieties. Instead of getting caught up in these thoughts, mindfulness teaches us to acknowledge them and gently bring our focus back to the present moment. This practice of returning to the breath helps train the mind to remain centered and calm, even amidst emotional turmoil. In addition to formal meditation, mindfulness can be woven into daily activities. Engaging fully in simple tasks, whether it's eating, walking, or washing dishes, allows us to cultivate a mindful attitude throughout the day. For example, when eating, we can focus on the flavors, textures, and sensations of the food, rather than rushing through the meal while distracted by other thoughts. This approach not only enhances our enjoyment of daily activities, but also promotes a sense of gratitude and appreciation for the present moment. Being present also involves developing a non-judgmental attitude toward our thoughts and feelings. Often we can be our own harshest critics, labeling our emotions as bad or weak. Mindfulness encourages us to observe our feelings without judgment, recognizing that all emotions are valid and worthy of acknowledgement. This acceptance allows us to create a more compassionate relationship with ourselves, reducing the internal struggle that can arise from trying to suppress or ignore negative feelings. Furthermore, mindfulness can be particularly beneficial in managing stress and anxiety. By anchoring ourselves in the present moment, we can break the cycle of worry about the future or regret about the past. Techniques such as deep breathing or progressive muscle relaxation can complement mindfulness practice, helping to calm the nervous system and reduce physical tension. When we learn to breathe deeply and focus on the sensations in our bodies, we activate the relaxation response, which can counteract feelings of anxiety and stress. Mindfulness also encourages us to embrace impermanence. Life is a series of fleeting moments, and understanding that both positive and negative feelings are temporary can help us navigate emotional highs and lows with greater ease. When faced with difficult emotions, mindfulness reminds us that they will pass, and we can observe them without becoming consumed by them. This perspective fosters resilience, enabling us to face challenges with a sense of calm and confidence. Additionally, practicing mindfulness can enhance our interpersonal relationships. When we approach conversations with presence, we become better listeners, able to fully engage with others without distraction. This not only deepens our connections, but also promotes empathy and understanding. By being present with others, we create an environment where open communication and trust can flourish. In conclusion, mindfulness and presence are invaluable tools for emotional detachment and overall well-being. By cultivating the ability to be fully present in our lives, we can acknowledge and process our emotions without being overwhelmed. Through practices like meditation, mindful engagement in daily activities, and embracing a non-judgmental attitude, we foster a sense of clarity and peace. This not only enhances our emotional resilience, but also enriches our relationships, allowing us to navigate life with greater intention and joy. Practicing self-care is a fundamental aspect of emotional detachment and overall well-being. In a fast-paced world where responsibilities and demands can easily overwhelm us, prioritizing self-care becomes essential for maintaining our emotional health. Self-care involves actively engaging in activities and practices that nurture our physical, emotional, and mental well-being, allowing us to recharge and cultivate resilience. At its core, self-care is about recognizing our own needs and taking the necessary steps to fulfill them. This requires a level of self-awareness that enables us to understand when we are feeling depleted or stressed. Often we can become so absorbed in our daily responsibilities, whether at work, in our relationships, or in our personal lives, that we neglect our own needs. By prioritizing self-care, we send a powerful message to ourselves that our well-being matters. One effective way to practice self-care is by establishing a routine that incorporates activities that promote relaxation and rejuvenation. This might include setting aside time for hobbies, exercise, reading, or simply enjoying quiet moments of solitude. Engaging in activities that bring us joy not only helps alleviate stress, but also fosters a sense of fulfillment and purpose. It's important to identify what activities resonate with us personally, as self-care is not a one-size-fits-all approach. What recharges one person may not have the same effect on another. Physical self-care is particularly vital, as our physical health significantly impacts our emotional state. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and adequate sleep are foundational elements of self-care that should not be overlooked. Physical activity releases endorphins, which can elevate mood and reduce feelings of anxiety and depression. Prioritizing nutrition and ensuring that we get enough rest can also enhance our overall energy levels, making it easier to cope with daily stresses. Simple practices like taking short walks, preparing nutritious meals, or establishing a consistent sleep schedule can lead to significant improvements in our emotional well-being. Additionally, setting aside time for relaxation and mindfulness practices is a crucial aspect of self-care. This might involve meditation, deep breathing exercises, or yoga activities that help calm the mind and promote a sense of inner peace. When we take time to breathe deeply and focus on the present moment, we create space for reflection and self-awareness, allowing us to connect with our inner selves. This connection fosters a greater understanding of our emotional needs and can guide us in making healthier choices. Social self-care is equally important. Engaging with friends, family, or supportive communities provides us with emotional nourishment and strengthens our sense of belonging. Human connection is a powerful antidote to stress and loneliness. Making time for social interactions, whether through casual gatherings, phone calls, or virtual hangouts, can significantly enhance our emotional resilience. Sharing our thoughts and feelings with trusted individuals fosters understanding and empathy, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. It is also essential to set boundaries as a part of self-care. This means learning to say no to commitments that drain our energy or contribute to stress. By recognizing our limits, we protect our emotional space and ensure that we have the capacity to engage in self-care practices. The boundaries empower us to prioritize our needs and maintain balance in our lives, ultimately leading to healthier relationships with others. Self-care is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is an ongoing commitment to nurturing ourselves and recognizing that our emotional well-being directly impacts every aspect of our lives. As we cultivate self-care practices, we create a buffer against the stresses of daily life, allowing us to approach challenges with greater clarity and resilience. In conclusion, practicing self-care is essential for emotional detachment and overall well-being. By establishing routines that prioritize our physical, emotional, and social needs, we empower ourselves to navigate life with greater ease and confidence. Embracing self-care as a fundamental aspect of our lives not only enhances our emotional resilience but also enriches our experiences and relationships, paving the way for a more balanced and fulfilling life. Cultivating a support network is a vital component of emotional well-being and plays a crucial role in the process of emotional detachment. Humans are inherently social beings, and the connections we build with others can significantly influence our emotional health. A strong support network provides a safe space where we can share our thoughts, feelings, and experiences, ultimately helping us navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and clarity. The first step in cultivating a support network is recognizing the importance of relationships in our lives. Support can come from various sources: family, friends, colleagues, or even community groups. Each type of relationship brings unique benefits, and it's essential to identify individuals who can provide the support we need at different times. For instance, family may offer unconditional love and understanding, while friends can provide companionship and shared experiences. Colleagues might offer professional advice or encouragement in our careers. By understanding the strengths of each relationship, we can draw on our support network more effectively. Building and maintaining these relationships requires effort and intentionality. It's important to reach out and nurture connections regularly. Simple actions like checking in with a friend, scheduling regular catch-ups, or expressing appreciation can strengthen these bonds. By being proactive in our relationships, we create an environment where open communication and mutual support can flourish. When we invest time and energy in nurturing our connections, we build trust and deepen our emotional ties, making it easier to turn to others during difficult times. In addition to fostering existing relationships, it's beneficial to seek out new connections. Joining clubs, groups, or organizations that align with our interests can help us meet like-minded individuals and expand our support network. Whether it's a hobby group, a fitness class, or a volunteer organization, engaging in shared activities creates opportunities for connection. These new relationships can provide fresh perspectives, support, and camaraderie, enriching our lives in unexpected ways. Another crucial aspect of cultivating a support network is being open and vulnerable with those we trust. Sharing our struggles and experiences can foster deeper connections and invite others to share their own challenges. This mutual exchange of feelings can create a sense of belonging and understanding, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. Vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness, and embracing it can deepen our emotional connections with others. Moreover, it's important to recognize that not all relationships are equally supportive. Evaluating our connections and identifying those that uplift us versus those that drain our energy is essential. Some relationships may be characterized by negativity, criticism, or emotional drain. In such cases, it may be necessary to set boundaries or distance ourselves from those individuals to prioritize our emotional well-being. Surrounding ourselves with positive influences creates an environment that fosters growth and resilience. Support networks also play a vital role in times of crisis or distress. When faced with challenges, be it personal loss, stress at work, or emotional upheaval, turning to our support network can provide comfort and guidance. Having trusted individuals to lean on can help us process our emotions, gain new insights, and find solutions to problems. This collective support can alleviate feelings of isolation and remind us that we have people who care about us and are willing to help. Additionally, it's essential to give back to our support network. Relationships are reciprocal, and being there for others in their times of need strengthens our connections. Offering support, listening, and providing encouragement not only helps those around us, but also reinforces our own sense of purpose and belonging. By actively participating in our support network, we cultivate a culture of mutual aid that enhances emotional resilience for everyone involved. In conclusion, cultivating a support network is crucial for emotional detachment and overall well-being. By recognizing the importance of relationships, nurturing existing connections, seeking new ones, and embracing vulnerability, we create a robust framework for emotional support. This network serves as a buffer against life's challenges, providing comfort, understanding, and encouragement. Ultimately, investing in our connections with others enriches our lives and empowers us to navigate the complexities of our emotional landscape with greater confidence and resilience.